Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Marty, and this is my third video for the week. I'm feeling a little bit like I'm exercising my inner Wyatt ex him, getting it out. Not every day like Wyatt, but man, I feel like I really kicked some ass this week. Is that the case, or is it me procrastinating from work I need to get done? Yep, that's how that goes around here. Procrastination is the mother of invention. But I'm back, and I've got more shit to show you, because that's what I do. I buy music, and I listen to music, and I love music. And yeah, a bunch of different stuff. I got some poser-ish type materials here to share with you as well. Get my inner, you know, this is transparency, full transparency. I have no demons. I'm going to show you the crap I listen to. Some of it's good, some of it's cult. Some of it is poser. What could it be? You have 10 minutes to speculate while we move on. In the background, we're listening to Saptherin with his latest, Patrick's latest, Hildegisil, blood dripping from a sword. I just got this today. And why did I just get this today? Well, I've got pretty much all the Saptherin stuff, whether either on cassette or CD. And I realized as I was digging through a pile of CDs the other day that this Saptherin album, The Wanderer, I had pulled from my distro stock and never listened to it. So in the shop, as I was printing t-shirts, which if you need t-shirts, hey, I'm your man. Send me a message. So Saptherin, The Wanderer, I put this in and was pretty blown away at how much I enjoyed it. I've always liked his stuff, but this to me struck me as more of a blatant emulation of Judas Iscariot. Maybe not as, you know, creative of a songwriter, but it's the same straight ahead orthodox style black metal, turning cold, really good. I ended up listening to the shit out of this. It's on Wraith Productions. This came out some years ago. I don't know exactly when it came out, but good CD. So yeah, I started thinking, I'm like, Jesus, what, you know, I need to get the rest of his discography. I don't remember. And sure enough, there was some shit that I missed, this being one of them. Black Winter of Desolation, Saptherin split with Sad. I don't know where Sad is from. I just grabbed this the other day, had it a couple days. Actually, on this split, the Sad material is a bit better than the Saptherin. The Saptherin's a little more lo-fi, straightforward, no thrills, no frills, black metal. Good, but I think Sad probably produced songs with a bit more interest for this split. But having said that, they complement each other well, and it's a good split. Have them in the distro. I have copies of these in the distro left if you need to get yourself one. They're not very expensive. So yeah, that kind of has been the cold element that I've been spinning a lot of. And this also came the other day, which has been fun. Brutality's When the Sky Turns Black. This is a reissue, a Ceremonial Records reissue. I just showed some Brutality the other day. I'm playing catch up on their discography. I'm pretty much got all of it except for one album, I think. I think maybe I bought that too. It's upstairs in cassette. I don't remember. I buy so much shit I forget. Not bragging, I'm just saying. You buy stuff and time passes and you forget what it is because you don't always have the time to spin it right away. But this is a great album. I don't know how I missed this back in the day. You know, I had their debut on CD, Screams of Anguish, when it came out. I must have moved on to black metal and kind of let the death metal stuff go a bit. But this is a good album, really heavy, well done. It's got a pretty forgettable cover of Black Sabbath's Electric Funeral on it. But 10 tracks, well done, excellent death metal from Florida. Yeah, I guess, I don't know if this is considered poser or not, but yeah, I'm gonna throw it out there. I realized, I watched something on YouTube one day with Devin Townsend, an interview with him, and I started remembering, I used to really enjoy the early Strapping Young Lad stuff. I saw them live during that the City album. I saw them around that time. Maybe it was Alien I saw them, I don't know. This is the Milwaukee Metal Fest. Great. I always thought the guy was super smart, had an interesting voice. It was very interesting. He's a good composer, he's a good songwriter. So I started investigating his catalog and realized that I liked some of it. I thought some of it was really good. Some of it was kind of boring, but I ended up going out and buying this record, Transcendence. This is his latest album. Did this come out this year? Yeah, this came out this year. This is the 2-album set. First CD is Transcendence. The second CD is Holding Patterns, which is demo material basically, which, the demo material sounds like, album quality shit. Many of you would probably see this as a poser type release, but I don't know. It's been driving around listening to it in the car. It's good car driving music. It's really atmospheric, heavily composed, orchestrated, if you will. What drew me to this is him. I think he's an interesting guy. I think he's super smart, and interviews, I typically enjoy what he has to say, because he does have stuff to say. He isn't just a metal. He's a guy with a brain in his head, and he writes some good music. Yeah, this is pretty formula. I can't talk today. There's a definite Devin Townsend formula here that a lot of his albums fall into this category. So if you get this, you go back 3 albums, it might sound kind of the same, except maybe with Annika from The Gathering singing on it. And either way, I've gone on too long about this album. It's really just pretty commercial. I enjoy it. This stuff does creep into my listening habits on occasion. Speaking of, here's 2 that could be pretty commercial leaning. Pretty big fan base. Paradise Lost with Shades of God and Icon. This album I bought when it came out on cassette. When the hell did this come out? 92? I kept buying. I loved Paradise Lost Gothic album so much, and Lost Paradise, the first album. Once they started to shift and change into this more gothic, dark, Nick stopped growling. His fucking death voice was awesome, and he started doing more of a James Hetfield-y type singing style. I hated it. I hated this album. I thought the drums on this album are the worst. They kill it. The guy's very boring. But just the whole feel, it just didn't sit right with me. I wanted Gothic Part 2, Part 3, Part 4. I wanted them to keep writing that twisted, melodic but fucking sinister sounding doomish English death mix that they were so awesome at. So I don't know, once I got a new tape deck upstairs, I dug a bunch of tapes out of a box that I've been sitting on forever and thought I hated, and I put on Shades of God. I liked it. Again, this is kind of like that whole Tiamat thing, which I talked about a couple videos back, where when something comes out, I fucking hate it, don't want anything to do with it, and then years pass. In this case, a good many years have passed. Put it on again, clicked with me. Is it experience? Is it my taste changing as I get older? Probably. More matured a lot since 1992. Made me run out and get the reissue, and then I realized I'd never heard this album before, because if this is gonna suck, well, this is gonna suck too. That was my mentality back in the day. So I bought this as well, and both albums are a good complement to each other, as they are right in the same vein. Yeah, it's more of a commercial style for Paradise Lost writing talents, as they attempted to earn more fans. But it's good. It doesn't have to be ass-raping black metal forever, There is a place for this in my listening habits as well, and I'm glad I took the time to refamiliarize myself with this middle era of Paradise Lost. And yeah, there's other shit. I know I'm not gonna like all their albums, but their last few have been great, and this is good. I'm going to keep hunting for them. If you've been keeping up with my videos, you know that I have a bit of a drowning the light problem. I apparently really like that band, that project, and some of the shit I think is amazing. Some of the shit I think is a little too thrown together and maybe should have been developed more before it was released. But I buy it anyway. And these next couple releases are all kind of tied in with that theme. This is, I think Canyon showed this off a while ago, and suddenly I remembered to buy it here the other day. This is Forgotten Kingdoms. Let's go throw it around. Blue Moon Gate Between Worlds. This is the main guy from Drowning the Light, whose name is, I cannot remember always, Asgore. This is his Dungeon Synth project. And for those of you that may be unfamiliar what Dungeon Synth is, basically medieval styled music played on a chintzy, shitty Casio keyboard. Even if it's not a shitty keyboard, they pick the chintzy Casio sounds. Simplistic lines, there might be some intersections of melody and whatnot. Typically there's no drums, sometimes there is. In this case, drums do, or percussion do, sneak into the equation. But Dungeon Synth, I have a couple buddies like Jake and Jack who are both very much into scouring the earth for obscure Russian teenager released Dungeon Synth tapes. This album made me realize that I do enjoy it, and maybe I've stayed away from it because I don't want to fall into yet another genre that I have to obsess about. But this is a good album. It's super simplistic. It's really easy to listen to. If you like the synth passages found on Drowning the Light albums, then this is you're already one step ahead of me as far as getting into this. This was 2 listens and it clicked. But if you enjoy the synth development on the Drowning the Light albums, you will more than likely really appreciate this. It's well written, super simplistic but well written. Synth music, there are no guitars, there's some evil narration here and there, but there's no singing, there's no screaming, it's just kind of like pitch shifted narration. If you're feeling adventurous and you're a Drowning the Light fan, check this out. Moving on into vinyl and Drowning the Light. This is, a lot of people have shown this already, Black Funerals, Aku and the Deathfire. This is for those of you that don't know who Black Funeral is, it is the brainchild of one Michael Ford here from Texas. He's been doing it for a very long time. Basically, he surrounds himself with musicians that write an entire album and he sings on them and provides poetry, whatever he wants to talk about at the time. It's typically vampiric. I don't know if he's ever played instruments on this stuff. I think he always has people come in and write the music so he can convey his ideals to the masses. But Asgore from Drowning the Light is now part of this band. Or band, I should say. Asgore wrote all the music. I think there was a guy that played drums on this, and then again Michael Ford stepped in and did all the vocals and lyrics. So, as you can imagine, this looks and feels very much like a Drowning the Light album. Is it the best Drowning the Light album you've heard? Probably not. It's good. It's a good album, and I have to definitely spin it some more. I've only spun it twice. Once I was in the mood to listen to it and enjoyed it. Second time I wasn't in the mood to listen to it. Thought it was boring. Lyric sheet. Pretty sweet poster. But yeah, I mean it really does sound like another Drowning the Light album. Is it as good as Out of the Abyss? Is that the name of that album? I always forget. Abyss something. No, it's not that good. But it's really a solid album. Michael Ford's vocals are great. No complaints there. This for me is going to be a grower. I got it. I had to have it. I was going to get it on CD, but since I've been trying to buy as many Drowning the Light albums on vinyl as I can, it ended up being a vinyl. Moving on, totally different style. We got 2 albums from Funebrarum. We got their absolute latest release, Exhumation of the Ancient, and the split with Internment. This is actually a, which is called Conjuration of the Spectral. This is a reissue on Dementia Records. For those of you that don't know, Funebrarum is the Death Doom project of one Daryl Kahn, I want to say his name is, who was also involved in the crushingly awesome band Disma from New Jersey area. This reissue is well done, nice super glossy jacket. These bands complement each other. Of course, Internment is a Swedish death metal band. Been around forever. Printed not inserts, but sleeves. Heavy duty. I don't think there's a... no. Both bands are great. A good compliment. This is good, excellent death metal, heavy as shit. This Exhumation of the Ancient is Funebrarum's most recent release. It's a mini LP on Dementia Records and Morbid Wrath. Comes with a poster of the album cover, which is pretty cool, which I just dropped and probably creased. And again, printed jackets, or not jacket, sleeves. Basically, Daryl has surrounded himself with a completely new lineup on here. It has been some time since the last full-length, Morbid. I can't not fucking remember the name of it off the top of my head. I must be getting old and forgetful. Is this new material, this new band, as good as the early stuff? Probably not as good, but it's in the same vein. This has been very enjoyable. I've listened to it a lot. Definitely, if you're into heavy death metal with a doom slant, check out Funebrarum. Next up, I'm getting a little longer than I wanted to be. Sorry, folks. It's going to take for fucking ever to upload. Next up, we're going to hit Norway pretty hard here. We got, of course, the new Dark Throne Arctic Thunder. I'm not going to take this out and show it to you. It's basically the orange version, which was only supposed to be limited, but it seems like everybody in the world got a copy of it, so I don't know how limited it is. Ultimately, this is a good album. I've enjoyed it. A lot of really good heavy metal riffs on here. And Culto, Nocturnal Culto, Ted has sung all the lyrics, did all the vocals on this album. And it is his best vocal performance since Cult is Alive. He's actually trying to dip back into the Cult black metal raspiness in his vocals instead of the drunk guy screaming at the bar. It's a good album. I don't love it. I think there's a lot of songs on here that are all the same tempo. The more I've listened to it, the more I've enjoyed it. First couple spins, I was pretty thinking I'm done with Dark Throne, which is fucking stupid to say. I can't believe I'd ever say something like that, but it's good. It's a good album. It's really been a grower for me. It's going to take a few more listens before I decide where it sits in the pantheon. For me, my most favorite album, the last album they did that I really, really, really loved was Hate Them. That was a great black metal record. Next up, this is a Blind by Scour, I want to say they're called, from Norway. Gravol, Nordnorsk, Fart Metal, and Fardo. 3 LPs. This is a complete blind buy. I remember friends saying how they thought I'd like this, so I just went out and bought them. This is my favorite of the 3. Really good, strange black metal, kind of twisted, fast, with high-end screechy vocals, which have really taken a lot to get used to. As they've gone on, the material's gotten stranger and the vocals have gotten stranger. So these 2 albums I'm still trying to fully ingest, I should say. I like it. I don't love it. I kind of wish I bought them on CD instead of vinyl. But, you know, my opinion and mood might change next time I spin them. So I'm still working on that. And lastly, in the Norwegian sphere, we're going to end on a poser note, and where I'm going to eat a considerable amount of crow. America, with the self-titled full-length. Man, when this album, I slammed the shit out of her demo that came out on vinyl on Relapse Records. The fact that Relapse signed a black metal band, saying they never would. They did, obviously for a cash grab. But that demo material was a fucking train wreck. Terrible, piss poor written riffs that ripped off over and made no sense with each other in the same song. It's just like she would throw all these random riffs together, scream over it, sing sometimes. I thought it was a mess. This record, I had a promo for it. I listened to it. I hated it. I thought it was just, you know, poser, rip-off, totally ripping off Garm and Ulver, the early albums. And then, you know, 6 months pass, I listened to the promo again after having spent a considerable amount of time listening to Ulver. This album clicked. You know, obviously she's ripping off Ulver, but the songs are really catchy. I like her grim vocals. I think her singing voice is beautiful. And do I think she is a comfortable fit in the black metal scene? Probably not. Does it really matter what my opinion is? If she should or shouldn't be doing this? No, it doesn't. It's what she wants to do, how she, you know, she has fans, obviously. And if people like her music, then that's all that matters. I ended up liking this. I ended up buying it pretty cheap. I'm glad I did. I've listened to it quite a bit. I haven't touched it since I've had it and had a little spell with it where I was listening to it every day. There's some really good songs on here. Again, there's riffs that almost sound note for note like they're lifted off of the Bergtot. Is that a bad thing? Bergtot's an amazing album. Probably in some way it is, but I end up enjoying this. I still hate the demo. Do I think she's going to be able to put out anything after this? It's going to mean anything? I don't know. I mean, basically her backup band was her studio band was a list of who's who in the Norwegian scene. So, I mean, if you surround yourself with enough talent, it's going to be pretty hard to suck. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this has gone on way too long. Sorry, 22 minutes. Thanks a lot for watching the videos. I'm going to try to keep up with these as it's feeling fun again. And that's it. I'll talk to you all later. Have a good night.